All right, so it's time to move on to the big news.
Big news.
Well, some of the bigger news in golf.
Well, before we get there, like, shout out to us recording this on a Tuesday at like 3:30 because shit was firing off this morning when pretty much from the minute you woke up until about 12 or 1 o'clock this afternoon.
And the crazy thing is I think we have more coming out Wednesday and Thursday, which we'll get to.
Yeah, okay.
But let's start with two new names who have been added to LIV Golf, the LIV Golf at Pumpkin Ridge. Both players resigned from the PGA Tour. Abe Ancer was announced on Monday, and then Brooks Koepka, which, again, we all kind of knew the rumors, was announced the following day. And so I guess let's first talk about our thoughts on Ancer and Brooks committing to that. I don't think it's a surprise.
No.
We don't know what the reported numbers are. A lot of people are ripping on Ancer because he was a guy who put in a post. He was like, this gives me an opportunity to, he said, like, grow the game, but I actually think he said it in a different way, but everyone's going to attack him for it. And I kind of want to defend. He said basically grow the game, but like help grow the game in my country, and this gives me more time to do those things.
Yeah.
He's only playing in 8 events. That gives him more access to it. And that's kind of how I took it. Now people are going to be like, you're with the Saudis. How are you? It's just, whatever. It's and I get it. Like, you're taking the money. I get it. But, like, I do also think there is some aspects of, like, more time for family, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But you did have guys kind of come out and say, hey, this was a business decision this week, a.k.a. Bryson.
Yeah.
And then Brooks joins. So initial thoughts on those guys.
Abe Ancer, like, I think he's he was in the teens of the FedEx Cup points, which is fine. Like, cool. Like, he's always just been a name that's kind of, flirted with, like, top 20s and stuff like that. So I don't know if he was necessarily ever going to be able to, like, really be a dominant force on the PGA Tour. I don't think he was going to be a guy that was marketed on the PGA Tour like some of these other players. So for him, I was like, okay, like that, like, no surprise whatsoever. Brooks, we've talked about it slightly in the past, like, and I've talked to people as well too. Is like, this is probably one of the least surprising names, along with Patrick Reed and Bryson DeChambeau. Like, those guys, again, those are all very, I would call them kind of narcissistic guys that love themselves and think they're, the God's given thing to earth. But for him, the whole way he complained at the U.S. Open and not wanting to talk about it, and kind of shamed the reporters for asking him the questions about it, makes him look like an even bigger ass now than I think it does last week. To me, like, I was convinced for a second. I was like, maybe he's not going to go. Like, maybe he's not. But then, like, to say he's like, I haven't really thought about it. Like, when he said that part, like, I haven't really thought about it. It's like, dude, every golfer in their right mind, like, even like people that aren't on the PGA Tour, like Sam and I, like, we've sat there and thought, like, would you go? Like, is that something, like, everybody's thought about it? Like, to sit there and say, like, you haven't thought about it, and then sure enough, 2 days after the U.S. Open, like, and he was already rumored going into the weekend.
Yeah. So I guess I want to challenge you on that.
Okay.
Because, like, my thought is what he was basically saying. He's like, I'm tired of being asked about the LIV. Like, this is my favorite tournament of the year, the U.S. freaking Open. Like, let's talk about the U.S. Open. Let's stop talking about this shit. Like, obviously, there clearly was some motives behind it. He didn't want to, like, say anything that would get him in some sort of hot waters, or, where he's basically saying one thing and then turning around the next week and doing it. But, I took it as he just doesn't want to talk about this anymore because, like, he's probably going, and he just wants to talk about the U.S. Open because that's his favorite thing to do. So maybe I'm off on that, but
I think all he had to do was like, yeah, I plan on playing at Pumpkin Ridge, and then I think the conversation stops there. Like,
oh no, it doesn't. Then they're like, well, why are you doing this? Why are you taking the money?
Well, you would have gotten those questions out of the way, and then you would have been.
But he's got to focus on the U.S. Open.
That's fine, but like eventually, like people were just gonna continue to ask questions one way or the other. So like, just come out and say, like, don't be a puss about it. Essentially, is where I'm looking at. Is like, you've been a guy that's been very vocal about, like, not being in love with the game of golf. So for, like, you should have just had the balls to come out and say, like, yeah, I plan on playing in the Pumpkin Reds. Like, you're not going to get suspended into the ball flies. And I get you want to focus on the U.S. Open, but, like, you've been a guy in the past that, like, has made a lot of things about you. Like, why are you trying to change all of a sudden because it's shining a negative light on you? And that's how I look at it.
I just think he's been very direct, and he's kind of a dick the way he answers things, and he's just like, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about the U.S. Open. I mean, you're right. We've talked about it. He cares only about the majors, and he likes money a lot.
Right.
He couldn't play in the first event, I think, because of the wedding or anything, and so he obviously kept his name hidden, I think, for those reasons. But like in my mind, I don't know. I don't have an issue with him kind of like beating around the bush there.
No, I mean, it just,
I get it, like other people want to drag him through the mud.
But I think it's just because of how dumb he looks now in that interview. It's like, I haven't given him much time to thought. It's like, clearly you have, though. It's not like...
Did he say that word for word?
He said, he goes, I haven't given it much thought about it. And then someone says, wait, you haven't? He goes, no, I'm trying to win the U.S. Open. Like, that was his response back. And then, like, there's no way you decide on Monday and Tuesday, like, oh, now I'm going to think about it, and now I'm going to join LIV Golf. That's why I have an issue with the way he was answering the question.
I'll understand that aspect of it. But either way, he joins obviously a number of players who have done it. We talked about Bryson and Patty Reed joining last week. I think, again, the first group of players really took a lot of the bullets, especially Phil. I'm curious how the media acts next week at the Pumpkin Ridge event. I think when we record this podcast, they won't have all of that stuff out yet next week. But it'll be interesting because you'll have the American media, which I think's really been attacking it more than maybe the world.